This is AI Meets MedTech podcast with Anna Nestorova.
Hi, I'm Anna Nestorova, and this is AI Meets MedTech. Today, my guest is Pavel Kolmogorov from Kolmogorov Law. Pavel has become one of go-to voices on AI liability, figuring out who is accountable if something goes wrong in a context of AI. And I'm so excited to have him here today in the studio. Welcome to AI Meets MedTech.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with a very simple question. Is the law even keeping up with everything that's happening in AI?
Well, it's an interesting question, and there's no a simple answer to that. That's for sure. But generally speaking, the law is obviously behind from my point of view, and the law is keeping up the way the runner keeps up with the running car. So It's like very hard, very new technology. It's been there for a little while, but the law is still not there.
Yeah. I think it's hard to keep up for all of us. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I know you explored multiple industries. I know you wrote a lot of articles about AI liability. And of course, my podcast is mostly related to healthcare, and I'll ask you most of the questions in that field. But feel free to use examples from other industries as well, because I think it's equally interesting how AI liability is shaping up. I read that in one of your articles. The doctors are now under dual risk. One is not using AI when it's needed, and another one over-relying on AI too much. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I think it's a pressing matter for a lot of healthcare professionals right now.
Absolutely. There's an irony in it right now, because again, like you probably said, not using AI may subject doctors to liability, and overusing AI may also subject to liability. I'd like to refer to one interesting case law that is just being taught in all law schools in the US, and that is a famous case which was decided by a very respectful judge, Judge Durnhand. I believe it was 1938, 32. So what happened is two ships were delivering coal from Virginia to New York, and due to the weather, they sank. They didn't know about weather forecast, some weather conditions, and they sank. So the cargo was lost. The boat owners were suing cargo ship operators for not equipping the boats with radios, so they could listen to the radio channel and dock in the port to be safe. The defense in that case was from the side of the boat operators that we don't have to equip each boat with a radio. It was not customary in that day. Some boats were buying these radios on their own and keeping them just to be safe. And the judge decided it was not a good defense. You cannot hide behind custom that the boat should not have these radios. So going back to your question, the premise is that the doctor or medical professional can be liable for not using AI. Basically, right now the defense would be nobody uses AI as to diagnose patients, right? Therefore, why should I use it, or why should have I used it, right? But now the legal argument would be you cannot hide behind it if you have a reliable tool.
Can you help me to understand it a little bit better?
Yeah.
I understood the case with a ship. They cannot say, well, we're not obliged to use a radio, so we don't have to have them. We are okay without radios. And the judge said, no, if you have a superior technology that can help you to increase safety, you have to use it. Is that correct?
Kind of. If you have, like you probably said, you have a reliable tool to diagnose patients or to be used in the medical industry, you have to use it if you have a chance, if it's superior to your own knowledge or technology.
That is really interesting. So you're saying that we will see more and more of that for healthcare professionals. Is that what you think?
Exactly, yeah. And I believe, if I'm correct, one of the chief operating officers of the leading medical insurance company basically expressed the same concerns and same statement. So it may be the case in the future.
Now let's go to the other part of it. What if now doctors are over-relying on AI tools? And what if AI tool is not, is making a mistake? Because we know it may have some mistakes. So what happens then?
Well, again, in terms of the liability, it's not there's no straightforward answer to that, right? Who is liable? The doctor who used it, or the company who one of the main companies that produced that tool, or the coders, or some other third-party companies that implemented that in medical industry. So there's like so many parties that can be held liable for that. And there's no simple answer to who you can go after to.
Would you just say that that actually opens up a new area of expertise for legal professionals? Now you have to dig in and figure out who is liable in such cases.
Well, the problem is right now, as we started this podcast, right? The law is behind the technology. And we've been operating on the premise of negligence or breach of warranty, strict liability for products for 100 years now. In fact, there's no federal statute that would discuss AI liability now. It's all deferred to states. And some states are better than others. For example, California right now have few bills regarding AI, and I believe it's SB 1120, which says the physician has to make a final decision whether deny the coverage, medical coverage, right? The actual person should be behind that decision. The AI cannot make the decisions on its own. And there's another bill saying that all communications with patients should be at least checked by the real person, the customers.
I have a quick question right here. You're saying right now, California is saying that doctors have to make the final decision and AI cannot make final decisions.
That is correct. As of January 1st, 2020.
But what if we live in the future where AI can make the decision? Who is liable then? Can we even have AI being liable, or it will be the people building the AI tool who will be liable?
Exactly. That's
I'm wondering, this is a very interesting field, because AI is an entity on its own in a way. We kind of look at it as a I don't even know, is it a tool? Is it a mechanism that makes certain decisions and can help with certain decisions? But in case we give that tool the autonomy to make those decisions, can we even hold it accountable? Or are we holding accountable people building that tool?
Right. First of all, we're not there yet, right? So we don't have this technology. A lot of legal scholars trying to come to some conclusion, whether it's a product, whether it's some autonomous machinery that can make a decision. And like I said, there's no straightforward answer to that. So we're still kind of trying to find a way to deal with it. Our current framework is not capable of addressing AI liability yet. That is, as of today, anywhere in the world. So there was this famous AI safety bill. And funny part is, maybe not that funny anymore. So a European Union came up with this directive for using AI back in, I believe it was 2023. The directive became effective in 2025, and then they withdrew it. So basically, it's not.
Why?
I guess just many concerns. And again,
can you tell me more what it was about? Because I am sure not many people are familiar with that. Can you tell me in a very short form?
Right. Back in 2023, there was a Safety AI Summit in UK where 100 plus scientists participated from 30 plus countries. And they tried to come up with a framework. I believe we started talking about AI in 2023, and then the technology was evolving. A lot of people raised concerns about that. They get together just to decide and kind of lay out a framework for
framework to do what? Framework to do we should not use AI, or we should.
How do we safely use it? Or if there's what the potential risks are and so on. They decide and they identify we have risks, but we don't know how to deal with it because they slowly evolving, and it's just very hard to assess the actual harm of AI yet because it just doesn't come the same minute. We have AI, and it's very interesting technology in terms of how it evolves, right? So it can learn right now.
Yes.
And that is also what makes it hard to say who is liable at the end.
Okay, so they withdrew the document.
They did. So
why?
Exactly for that reason. They couldn't determine what's the framework would be.
It's actually not a good thing. It sounds concerning to me.
Yeah, it is. Well, again, it's just like I said, a lot of scientists and scholars have been wrestling with this question for a number of years now.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move from the healthcare professionals to, let's say, hospitals, because I want to go through healthcare professionals, hospitals, and patients side of things. One of the things I was pondering about is, what if the hospital has an AI tool that is supposed to, like, we think it's superior to a doctor's judgment.
Mhm.
Are they legally obliged to go and say, you have to use this tool now, versus doctors saying, I don't want to use AI. I want to do everything by myself
Yeah.
from the
And
hospital?
I think we touched on it a little bit already. If you have a way and reliable tool to use, but there's a good argument to be made that you should have used it, right?
Yes.
If it comes to some liability.
Yes.
So, but again, we're not there yet. And partly because we don't have this reliable tool yet. Even in my industry, in the legal industry, the hallucination rate is like very high, higher than you would expect. So it just, I don't remember the exact numbers, but they over, I believe for some major players, over 20%, which is very high.
Yeah.
And there's another concept that we came to just recently called cognitive surrender, which is an interesting term that I just recently discovered myself. Basically, it means that people over relying on AI. Any output that they get from AI, they don't scrutinize enough. And that may be the case in legal industry. That may be the case in medical industry as well.
How can doctors deal with that? If we now know this phenomenon exists, so what can we do now?
This is AI Meets MedTech podcast with Anna Nestorova.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of, let's say, a doctor. And like you said, I have a patient, I diagnose something, and I used AI, a certain tool that is approved to help me out with diagnosis. And now it was a mistake. So AI was wrong. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. As of right now, like I said, the liability falls to the person who signs, whether it's
So
legal
what?
documents or medical decisions, right? So that's going to be a damned physician who did something like that, or the attorney who, if it's in legal industry, who submit the pleading to the courts. As of right now, we don't have any approved tools that can make their own decisions autonomously, right? The person, they have to sign under whatever the AI output is.
So now let's move to the patient side of things. I read something very interesting in one of your articles. It was related to how conversations with chatbots now can be subpoenaed. So the court can get access to them. And I wonder if the communication with the chat, I don't know, ChatGPT, Claude, you name it, Gemini, as a patient, if I had some sort of a conversation and that can be subpoenaed, can that be used against me in court? What do you think?
Yes. Well, it's an interesting topic. Again, it's been on the headlines for a while now, and I've been advising, or I've been a commentator for a while now. The answer is it depends, as always in the legal industry.
I like the legal industry for that. All depends.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, there's one case, and it's a criminal case, where one of the LLMs, I believe it was ChatGPT, subpoenaed, and that was used against a person in a criminal framework. But it's not necessarily the case in the civil cases right now. So it's very hard to get. It's possible, but it's very hard to get information from one of those LLMs and use it. Practically speaking, it's still confidential. So, but again, it can't be subpoenaed, and technically, it's evolving industry where we don't know yet. We know that the case law exists where it was done in a framework of criminal law. We don't know yet in a civil framework. So we'll see. I can tell you right now, there's the doctor-patient privilege, right? There's an attorney-client privilege.
Yes.
That information is protected 100%.
So you're saying
some exceptions, but be mindful when you converse with ChatGPT or Claude regarding your health problems or legal problems. Potentially, it can be subpoenaed. It can be used against you. It's something to keep in mind.
This is an interesting topic because now I'm thinking about what you're saying. Do you think in the future, let's say insurance companies can go after some patients and saying, well, you hid information from us on your health conditions, and we found the communication with ChatGPT about your pre-existing conditions, which led to certain events, and you already in some sort of a legal battle or case. Do you think that's what's going to happen?
I can see how it can be used against a person, multiple or different kind of lawsuits, right? So, and the example you just referred to, one of those.
Okay.
So basically the answer would be naturally, yes, that's one of the scenarios, but I can see how it can be used and abused in all other.
Can you give me a couple of examples or one?
Well, again, anything. If you sell insurance, health industry, let's see, anything else, because basically people are relying on ChatGPT or other LLM system too much now, whether it be legal advice, medical industry, some financial
financial area,
Yeah.
financial industry. Yeah, I can see that. Well, if we talk about future, what do you think is the most plausible development in AI liability in healthcare? Do you think we will keep relying on doctors and humans, or you think we will start shifting towards liability being placed on AI?
As far as right now, I cannot imagine the scenario where AI can be liable, right?
Mhm.
So, and what exactly does it mean, liability of AI, right? Essentially, the owner of this LLM system.
Yeah, I'm talking about the company, probably
the
who created
company.
the AI
Right.
or the AI tool.
Yeah, but it's interesting question. Again, it's just hard to predict what's going to happen. But essentially, it's so many people involved in this chain, right? So like we previously discussed, it's just developers, it's the company, it's the third-party tools that were used to implement in certain industry. It's data collectors, so to say, right? So it's so many people, and I think it's going to be something called fractional liability, right? As for example, in the car accidents right now, right? Drivers can be liable in certain degrees, like 60%. This person's, 40% this person. I think something like that fractional liability will come into play with AI as well. So it's going to be fractioned. Let's say the developer 10% liable in this, and then the company that owns AI may be liable for some certain degree, right? Because it just created all these tools.
Then the doctor will have the part of it. Maybe the hospital will have the part of it.
Right.
It's actually interesting. Okay.
Yeah, fractional liability. That's the answer to it.
Okay. Thanks. Is there anything that scares you about AI?
I wouldn't say anything scares me. I'm a proponent of technology. I like technology, but again, to the degree. I don't want to give up the technology. And again, there's a concern of bias that comes to it, comes with AI. So, for example, there's this a pilot project in legal industry where what they do is they trying to implement AI tools that would help judges to make their decisions, the orders and rulings, right? The idea is to feed in all the documents and case law and all the pleadings, and then judge would have in front of him or her drafted order that he or she need to look over and submit. Again, we come to the question or the term of cognitive surrender, where the judges.
Scary.
It's scary because, for the most part, judges are overloaded with cases. They, average handle over 1,000 cases. It's a huge docket. It's a lot of cases. It's a lot of work, and they most of the time don't have enough time to go over and check everything. So that's the risks of it. And AI being taught on the wrong data can come to the wrong decision. Yeah. So that's the risk.
But that's exactly the same as in medical field. I find that legal field and medical field have so many parallels because they're highly regulated and they truly decide on people's destiny and life. So judges are making serious decisions that can affect people's lives. And of course, doctors and healthcare professionals, they make decisions that affect people's lives. I find it's quite scary, like you said, if the judge looks at it and AI proposes a certain decision, what are the chances that the judge will go with that decision? It's the same as the doctor who relies on AI on the diagnostics of the patients, right? I find it's quite scary because yes, maybe in 98% of cases, AI is correct. But in 2% of those cases, it may have, I don't know, maybe had a hallucination, maybe had, I don't know, a
But
bias.
how about, I'll be devil's advocate.
Please do. I love
for a second. Yeah. Right. Look, most of the people, we're human, right? So we prone to some biases.
Sure.
That some of the biases unconscious even. Meaning that how about if the AI properly taught, right, on good data, it will do a better job than an average human, right? Human tend to be tired, overworked, and so on, to be in a bad mood, hungry.
Yes.
That can influence decisions in some way. But AI can work 24/7, right? Potentially it can be better. So who knows? Maybe it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be nice to know how many mistakes are being made now without AI tools, let's say by judges or by
Right.
doctors, and then compare it to when AI is.
And I can tell you quite few from my own experience.
Okay. Okay. Has anything about AI in your field surprised you recently?
Oh, yes. I think one of those platforms, LLM platforms, wanted to claim a copyright on anything created using their tool, which is an interesting concept. So people using AI in different industries, healthcare, legal, some art, movie industry, and so on, right?
Mhm.
There was at some point, I think, even some CEO of ChatGPT or Claude said that we want to explore a concept where we will be the owners of anything created by our
I
tool.
do remember that. Yes, I do remember.
And it's an interesting concept that basically they wanted to be an owner of the world, to say.
Of everything.
So anything and everything created, they would own, right? But now I think it just kind of backed off a little bit with that concept because again, it just multiple questions come up, how you would enforce it, how it actually would work. And it's interesting how it's gonna evolve in the future. So that's something very interesting.
Do you think there is a possibility they can copyright it from your experience?
It's all new. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to implement it to a degree.
But if I would ask you, would you give them right to copyright or you wouldn't? You would say no because it's human plus AI. So what's your opinion?
My take on it, I think it wouldn't benefit society overall because people are very creative. They're trying to use it in multiple industries, and that is what pushes forward the progress or development. If they implement or try to implement something like that, people would be more careful what they feed into AI because they would be scared that they'll be, they will lose it eventually.
But it could be even a good thing. Well, I guess it depends how you look at it. Like you said, it all depends.
Right.
Now, my last question is, if you had a magic wand and you would ask AI to do something for you, anything you want, it doesn't have to be work related. It could be work related. What that would be?
I would ask the magic AI to make peace in the world. I don't know. It's like, how would you better express it? But just to make sure that people don't kill each other for no reason. So to say, given the circumstances in the world right now.
So would you trust AI with that task?
Well, I would task the AI and see the output. Maybe it would offer something good. Who knows?
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
This is AI Meets MedTech Podcast with Anna Nestorova.